Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another video. I'm going to talk about movies I've watched lately. Now, I've done this series, I think I've had about six of them. This might be the seventh. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to talk about movies on this channel. I'm still trying to work this channel. Any ideas would be appreciated in the comments below. I'm thinking that all the movies that I'm going to show you here will be the movies that I've watched recently in the past weeks. And I'll show you the movies. I'll talk very briefly about them. And if you want to hear any more about any particular film here, please check out videos that I'll be doing individually. I think that's what I'm going to do. This will be like a lump sum of my thoughts on some videos here, movies. And then what I'll do is tackle them individually, because I figure, like, if I talk about all of them too much here, why would you want to watch the individual video, you know? One thing I'm going to do in the individual videos that I won't do here in the binge watching video is I'll give you a star rating from 1 to 4 on what I thought of it. I don't go to 5. I do 4-star ratings. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started here. The first thing I'm going to show you here is a movie from 1987 called Light of Day, starring Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett. It's kind of a heavy family drama with rock and roll elements in it. I saw it in the theater when it premiered as a big Joan Jett fan. Again, as I said at the top, don't want to talk about too many of these here because I know I'm going to be doing an individual review of this soon on this channel, and I want you to check that out. You'll see the star rating and what I thought of it. But that's what I watched recently. I just want to tell you enough in these what I've watched lately videos, just maybe to maybe whet your appetite and have a reason to check the other videos out. At least that's the direction that I'm going. All right. Saw this in the theater as well. 1989, Al Pacino. I'm a Pacino fan. Sea of Love with Ellen Barkin. It's a police crime drama, and I revisited this recently. I won't say too much about it here. Okay, something different for a moment here. This is the 6-film Boris Karloff collection. In the late 1930s, well, mid 30s and mid 30s, late 30s, and early 40s, Karloff made 6 films for Columbia Pictures. And fans call these the Karloff Mad Doctor series, but in truth, out of the 6 films here, only 5 of them deal with him being a doctor or scientist. One does not. And eventually, I'm definitely going to make a standalone video just featuring all 6 of these films. And I'll let you know what I thought of each one of them. All right. Okay, I recently revisited this movie that I did not see in the theaters, but I've seen it a bunch of times on home video. And it's a sequel to the 1973 classic American Graffiti, this one being More American Graffiti. And I've seen this several times. I have certain feelings on this that may surprise some people. So it gets the cast reunited about 6 years after the release of American Graffiti, and we find out what happened to them, and we already know some of their fates from the end of the first movie, but I'll get into that in an individual video about this one. Okay, let's talk about cheesy Japanese monster movies. Okay, we're talking about like Godzilla and his friends. This particular release from Classic Media has 2 films on here from Toho Studios. We have Rodan and the War of the Gargantuas. I didn't see Rodan back again, but recently I watched the War of the Gargantuas. And that is just a film that has to be talked about, and I'll do that individually. I saw it in the theater, War of the Gargantuas, in 1970 when it came here to America as a young kid. I saw it. It's a lot of fun seeing these giant monster movies from Japan on a big screen, which you don't have a chance very often to see that. Sticking with Al Pacino here again, I recently rewatched a film I saw in the theaters in 1997, I believe, The Devil's Advocate. And you have Keanu Reeves in this, and he plays a young lawyer working for Al Pacino who is more than he seems. All right, so I'm going to get into this at some point in a solo video. All right, also recently I revisited the cheesy 1950s monster film, The Brain from Planet Arous. This is one of those films that you either get it or you don't. You know, you're either a fan of grade Z cheesy B movies from the 50s or not. And I'll get into this one time pretty soon. Finally, I rewatched all three of the Coppola Godfather films. You can see this particular collection here has the three of them. Godfather 1, 2, and 3. Now, Godfather, the first one, The Godfather, which is now Godfather 1, I guess you'll call it. I just revisited this with my nephew, who's seen it for the first time on the big screen in the movie theater recently, and that prompted me after that to rewatch 2 and 3. So I got a lot of things to say about the Godfather films. I'm going to be doing videos, probably one video on the three of them all together. I don't know if I'm going to do them individually. Probably not. But anyway, so that's it. That's what I watched recently, unless you want to count a movie that I saw in the theaters with my girlfriend, her decision, called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It was a brand new movie, and I got to tell you, it was a Dullsville, folks. It was about some old lady that dreams of a dress that she wants to buy, and she decides she's going to go to Paris, and she finds this dress and wants to bring it back home, and yeah, I'll tell you right now without doing a separate review for that, it was dull, man. Dull, dull, dull. Yeah, it's more of a girl's movie, I guess. Anyway, that's it, folks. And as I say, just to be a little repetitive here and mention this again, trying to think what direction to do this in, you know. I could just do videos where I show movies like this and go a little more in depth, and that's it, you know. No individual standalone reviews. Just talk about them all like this for each one for a couple of minutes, and that's it. Don't know. The problem I have with that is, let's suppose someone somewhere is interested in the movie Sea of Love. You know, how are they even gonna find it here? You know, I don't know. It's kind of buried in a video with other movies. I'd rather have it give it its own standalone video. We'll see. I may tweak the formula. Your opinions are welcome. Thank you, folks.